Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining the show again. Welcome to the Success Blueprint. I have a friend, Jeremy Larkin. Jeremy is a friend of mine. We met him a couple of years ago at a mastermind, and he's always got a lot of good things to say. Jeremy likes to be known as real estate agent, real estate coach. He runs a successful business there in St. George, Utah. And he is a dad, and he's just an amazing guy. So if you get the chance to follow him on the socials, he is pretty entertaining, and he's got a lot of good, I don't know what to call it, Jeremy, like the simple wisdom that you don't overthink it, but you just share some really good thoughts that makes you think a little bit.
Thanks, man. It's and that account is at High Impact Realtor. I mean, if somebody's like, what's your shtick? I bring humanity into real estate, kind of like we're not guruing in there. We're saying, here's what's actually going on, and here's what people are really thinking. And the reason I know that I'm getting that part right is because people always go, oh my gosh, thank you for saying this.
Right. Well, so Jeremy, take us back. How long have you been doing real estate for?
20 years and 11.6 months. So I'm honestly, July 1st is going to be 21 years.
That's incredible. So take us from the beginning. What got you into real estate, and what's kept you in it so long?
Dude, that's actually a very good question. I mean that very tongue in cheek. So I got into the business in 2005, and I was 30 years old. I'll give you a little bit of context because it's probably helpful for anybody who's out there saying, can I build something? I was 30 years old. I had 3 kids, 6 and under. I worked for somebody in commercial real estate development. We were doing like strip malls and shopping centers, and I was really sick of it. And the work was fun, but I didn't love who I was working with. And my brother-in-law owned an exit realty franchise, of all things. He didn't even know what he was doing. This is the funniest part about the story, is he bought this franchise because he heard it was a good opportunity. Was not an agent, had never been an agent, never became an agent. And I looked, and we were managing the building that they were my tenant. So literally I worked for this company, and Exit was one of my tenants, a floor below me. And I looked around and said, maybe I can do this. To be totally truthful, I didn't understand what the opportunity was or wasn't. I wasn't thinking 6 figures. There's kind of a lot I didn't know. I knew that I didn't want to be there and where I was, and it drove me to get a license. And I mean, we can dig way into what kept me in it. I mean, right. That's probably part of this whole discussion. Let me give you the short answer. You golf at all?
Yeah.
Morgan?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm terrible.
Cool. So this is perfect. If you're terrible, it's going to be a better analogy. When you just hit a killer shot and it keeps you coming back?
Yeah.
I think that's what real estate's been. I mean, we've sold 2,200 homes, to be fair, which sounds like, it's always been good. My father said years ago, I bought the building I'm in and we renovated it. And he said, do you remember what Uncle Gray said? I was like, well, Uncle Gray said a lot of things. Grey, Gray. He'd passed away like 10 years ago. He said, before you renovate this building, you better remember it's going to take longer, cost more money, and be more frustrating than you think it's going to be. Do you love this, dude? Take longer, cost more money, be more frustrating. I think that real estate's been that way.
Right.
But when it's good, it's just so good. And when it's hard, it's so hard. And maybe that challenge just kept me coming back.
I love that. So have you been doing real estate in St. George your whole time?
Nonstop. Never. I mean, I'm licensed in Northern Utah, but I'm not really doing business. Always in St. George.
Gotcha. And is that where you're from?
Yeah, born and raised.
Awesome.
So I look out my window and I'm looking at the university I attended. I mean, I am here,
So So we do have real estate agents, business, people just starting in business. We have lenders. We had a lender on just last. And Jeremy, what is it that you see as somebody just starting out in real estate, as being a real estate coach? What do you hit on? What do you coach on? What do how would you help somebody in their first year of real estate? What's some of the advice you give them?
I love this question. Um, the first year I was in business, I sold 6 houses. And the second year, I sold 20. And I get this for context because it was a fairly fast trajectory. In year three, I sold 29, 32, 33, 46. You're going to laugh. 161. Now,
Wow.
this is a true story. Now, I'm going to answer this. So, the 161 was a perfect storm of events that culminated. And I started selling foreclosures for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and the foreclosure business came uncorked. And I was truly in the right place at the right time. Now, back up. I don't usually lead with 161 because it's like, who can even relate to that crap?
Right.
6 to 20 people get it. Number one, I decided I went to this Tom Ferry seminar in 2005. I hadn't even sold a house, and my friend invited me. And this is fun. This is the binder. It's 21 years. I kept it. I never threw it away because it's like a treasure. So when I left his event, I thought, oh, this is a business. This was the singular takeaway. Wait, because Morgan, does it resonate when I say most realtors just think of themselves as realtors, not as business owners?
Right.
Like, I got to chase and scramble a deal to get a deal. I realized it was a business. And so I said, okay, I'm going to build something that lasts. That was the number one thing I did. And people are like, is that even tactical? Well, I'll give you something tactical, but I don't think agents understand how important what I said is, because it shaped everything I did. So knowing that, I went and got the top producer CRM. Are they even in business now? I don't know. And I took a phone book. So great, man. I love this story. And I took every person I could find in the phone book that I knew was mainly people my parents knew. And I hand click, 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 entered them into top producer one at a time. Name, home phone, home. Did you know?
Right.
You're old enough. Home phone numbers. There were no cell numbers in a phone book.
Right.
And a home address. And I sent a letter out that said, hey, everybody, I'm going to be a realtor. This is how I started my business. That decision, I'm telling you, it set everything in place because then I started putting classic, like millionaire real estate agent, MREA book, build a database, feed it every day, communicate in a systematic way. I started sending a letter every month, started sending emails. Every person I met went in the CRM. And I just said, because the decision, if I'm going to build a business, businesses have CRMs, right? Businesses have a system. Businesses incorporate. I incorporated myself that year. 6 months into it, I hired an assistant. I don't know how many people hire an assistant 6 months in the business. I just started getting busy and thought, well, how am I going to be a dad and be screwing around evenings and weekends? This is going to be hard.
Right.
So your question, the answer is number one, I decided I'd build a business. And number two, I went and got a CRM and I started filling it. It's not novel.
So, and I love it, right? I mean, it's like textbook. It's the answer that's the truth that nobody wants to hear because they want to hear that you went and overturned that rock that had, 17 deals to it. But but so when you only closed 6 in that first year, 2 questions. One, how were you able to keep going? What gave you faith to keep going? And then 2, how did you get more deals the next year than the first year?
Oh, I think part of it is, look, I wasn't broke, which is helpful. Meaning when I started my career, I don't remember what I had in the bank, but there was some savings. And I think I was just dumb enough. Like I didn't know that six was, I mean, it wasn't really a full year. It was actually probably 6 deals in 6 months.
Right.
I think is about what it was. I didn't know whether that was a lot or a little. I just started doing what I did. So year two, what happened was I started calling and mailing expireds and FSBOs. And I say this only like with kind of a grain of salt because calling expireds and FSBOs is not the same now because people don't pick up the phone the way they used to.
Right.
I mean, answer rates are way down and they'll get worse, by the way. I mean, good grief. We just got the AI, the iPhone filtering. Give it a year. Who knows what's next? But I want to stay on track. I got a taste. I was like, this is sweet. And so I started calling expireds and FSBOs. So it was like Sphere deal, expired deal, FSBO deal, open house deal. And what I was doing is I was structuring my day as mornings were lead gen time. It's classic. It's textbook. It is textbook.
Right.
Mornings were lead gen time. And afternoons were open houses, appointments, or previewing property. And I just got on that rhythm, man. And
Stayed
I mean,
consistent.
I'm outgoing, but
When you get in the rhythm and just staying consistent, it's actually crazy how fast things do work. We want
sure.
things to move quick. And I've realized, in my business, in my life, that that you can just, by being consistent, 2 months goes by pretty quick. And you can get a lot done in 2 months and actually get some pretty decent momentum.
Well, listen, yes. And I just pulled up because I have the spreadsheet that existed forever. Now it's all in brevity, as you know. That second year, it was 11 sphere units. That was 50%. 4 expired units. That was 21%. 5 FSBOs. That was 23%. One sign call and one open house deal. And that was like 21 deals. It factored out funny because I had a referral something in there. This is not, again, it's not that novel. But something happens. If you're willing, let me share something that I haven't shared. That this probably matters a lot. The Tom Ferry seminar taught me two things. One was that it was a business, but number two is I realized that you could become good at sales. So I came home and also in my stack of stuff, I still have the audio CDs, all this, like CDs. And I would drive in my car and listen to these like so-and-so calling FSBOs, so-and-so calling expired. It's the listing presentation.
Right.
I just became kind of obsessed with getting really good. And I'll be damned. When man, things get easier fast when you really start studying the sales process.
Right.
I swear it. I want people to please believe me. So, but most people don't. How many agents do you know that are masters of their craft?
Very little. And when you talk about that, I've got some kids that love sports, and this might be terrible comparison, but they love. My two youngest love baseball. My oldest loves football and basketball, and my daughter loves basketball. And what's funny is when they watch sports, they love watching the sports that they're in, and they love. I guess learning or critiquing or seeing what people are doing. And I think a lot of it's like what you're saying, you're listening to these CDs or, it takes me back to, 20 years ago when I got my license, and you start diving into it and you start being like, okay, what's this guy doing? What's that guy looks, that guy in the suit seems like he knows what he's doing. How does
Everyone was
he
in
say
it.
it?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, wow. And you become mesmerized a little bit of what these people are doing. And you're like, how can I, oh, I like that line that he said, or I like this. And you start incorporating it into your own style. And so, I mean, when you say that you listen to those CDs, I do think that that's a big one. I do think that people kind of just work this as more of a hobby. Like, I'm just going to do this instead of getting a job. But when you become obsessed and it's become something that you really, really, really want, I feel like that's what changes everything, is because then you just start becoming what they would call a student of the game, I guess you would say.
Well, the sports analogy here's why the sports analogies always work. It's because it is, look, you, and by the way, I'm a sports fan, but I'm not like a hardcore sports fan.
Sure.
But here's what's funny. If you look at Tiger in his prime, if you look at Kobe in his prime, you look at these people Tom Brady, there was something they all had in common. They were obsessed with practicing. Yes, they were clearly like freaks of nature and all the cool stuff. But the NBA is full of freaks of nature,
Right.
right? I mean,
Right.
hello, so's golf, so's whatever. These guys were so crazy with practicing. I remember this funny experience because I had those 5 FISBO deals. First FISBO I listed. I remember exactly where the house was. It was in scenic Sunrise in Washington City, Utah. And I went out to this house. I listened to this audio CD, and I was like, oh, I'm going to deliver this. And I don't remember what the line was, but there was this kind of the delivery,
Right.
and I showed up. And when I delivered it, it was like a zinger. And they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're ready to list. And I'm like, is there a camera on me right now? Like, whoa, like we caught this.
Right.
We signed a listing agreement, and I went out, and they had a directional sign a block from their house, one of those $10 throwaway ones, and then a sign in the yard. And they pulled the sign in the yard. And when I got down to the directional, I stole it and I brought it back and I hung it on the back of my door in my office as a trophy.
Right.
Some guys you probably do, you're an Idaho guy. Some guys put deer on their wall, okay? An elk. I had a FISBO sign.
Yeah, I love that.
But the funny thing was, I remember I had listened. It was like, I'm going to deliver this. And I delivered it. And the funny thing about sales is guys, these aren't like trick closes. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if I can just confuse them and then sales is just like a logical transition.
Right. When we think of sales, we think of when we've got sold last, and it's typically a bad experience. When you really think about getting sold, it's frequently every single day, like when you really think about it. And so as agents or real estate agents, the good ones are just giving everyone the all the information that they need to make the best decision for themselves and helping them understand, to think clearly on that decision. We're not trying to talk them into anything. Like most people think of sales of, I'm going to talk Jeremy into doing something that he's not really comfortable in doing that really
Correct.
is mostly going to benefit me, and hopefully it does him too. When sales is just really of service of just helping somebody understand the process of what it is that they're trying to do.
Look, I love what you're saying because I've often told agents, I said, you can chill out because we don't convince anybody to do anything. It's actually the best part about the business. No one gets convinced. There's actually only one group of buyers that I say you can educate into a purchase, or first-time home buyers.
Right.
And maybe people who are starting to invest. But notice what I said, you can educate them into a transaction, right? So you sit with a first-time buyer, or an investor, and you go and obviously, well, here's all the things that how this works, and here are all the benefits, and they go, you're right, and they are benefits, and they do it.
Right.
But for the most part, no one's convinced. I mean, how many homes? I mean, you guys have sold how many homes over the years? Just out of curiosity.
I'd say over a couple of thousand.
Cool. Do you ever remember like twisting someone's arm to sell?
Never.
It's what? It's like, we don't do that. No one, like people are not dumb. By the way, you can twist someone's arm to buy knives from you.
Right.
You can twist someone's arm to buy a stupid souvenir on the street in Mexico. It's impulsive. It's $5 to $100.
Right.
This is a home.
And when
So,
when an agent gives you a call, say it's after a showing, and they're give you the razzle dazzle, and then they give you the information to try to talk your client into it. You know what I mean? Like, well, just so you know, there's this and this and this. I can't even come up with an example. When you're speaking, I think of that situation, and all I do is call up my client and say, this is the piece of information that the sellers, the selling agent just gave me. I actually think that they're kind of in a hurry to sell. So if this did interest you, I think that you're probably going to be able to get a little bit better of a deal than what, maybe you even thought you would. But it's never
that's important information.
It's never in a situation of, hey, I'm going to pressure you into buying this because there's a bonus, or pressure you into buying this because of, something. You just lay out all the cards and help them make the better decision on the whole thing.
Yeah.